Actually, in God's eyes, is there such thing called big sin and small sin? To answer this question, I want to bring you to a very familiar story, which is the story of Peter's denial to Jesus. You will know that this story, right? I know for sure you will know this story. But I want to bring you to think like this. Uh, what is actually Peter's sin here? What is the mistake that Peter actually make? What is Peter's sin? Think about it for some time. Peter deny Jesus. Okay, but if you think deeper, you realize that it's actually a very quote unquote small sin that you might have been doing it for many times. Very likely, it's just a lie, A lie. Do you know Jesus? I don't know. Full stop. That's a lie. A very small sin. And I mean, if you think about it carefully, it's somewhat like you are in a table eating together. Normally you pray before meals, but now you don't pray because you are just afraid of being judged by other people. Or maybe you are you usually go to church, but on this particular Sunday, because this your close friend asks you to do this and to do that, then you skip that week, that Sunday, because you are just afraid to be judged. That isn't it similar to this story? But why we usually think that such thing is a small sin, and maybe we don't even consider it as a sin. But Peter, we consider it as a big sin. Why? Oh, okay, maybe some of you may say, but Peter actually cursed, swearing and cursing. But it's just so common. I mean, once you step into the small sin, and you don't realize it's a sin, maybe, because you are trying to self-defense. This is self-defense, but for Peter, I think you're just trying to defend, and then you go into deeper and deeper stuff. You're just afraid of being rejected now, but now they hang out every Sunday. Then you skip the church every Sunday, and you go into a totally different path. It can be that simple. Wow. Always starting small, but it leads to a bigger failure, a bigger sin. So what's wrong? Is there any big sin and small sin? And to answer shortly, I think in the eyes of God, at first, in the most fundamental level, we need to learn to see sin as sin. So there is no big and small sin. Sin is sin. And more importantly is another level of seeing sin, which is sin is a breaking the relationship with God. Broken relationship with God. In the story of Peter, at first Peter didn't realize it, until 3 times he didn't realize it. Do you know that? Until the rooster crows. Then, wow. And especially in the Gospel of Luke, the story is written even more beautifully, because the Gospel of Luke states that the Lord turned at Peter and looked straight at him. That look, that stare, that eyes. Eyes is the window to the soul. I think Peter can see the disappointment and yet still hoping, still loving him. And that kind of eyes, that kind of stare, that kind of gaze, it's wow. So immediately, if you read in the Gospel of Luke, The Lord turned and looked straight at Peter. Then the rooster crowed, and then Peter went out and wept bitterly. Bitterly, bitterly. Suddenly, he think it's okay. It's just self-defense mechanism. Suddenly, he can weep bitterly. He realized it's such a huge sin. What is the difference? He realized that it's the relationship that is broken. He has disappointed Jesus. He has broken Jesus' heart. That realization. Can we see sin as we are breaking the heart of God? We will see everything completely in a completely different way if we can see sin as the breaking of the relationship with God, not just as a breaking of some rules. It's completely different. If you are in a relationship, in an intimate relationship, husband and wife, or girlfriend, boyfriend, that kind of intimate relationship, a small thing will matter much more than if you don't have any relationship. A small mistake can matter a lot in an intimate relationship. Because what? Because it means, are you still trusting that person from this small act? From that small sin, are you actually still trusting God? And if you don't trust God, it's such a huge sin, you trust something else other than God. Can you imagine that? And it's just so tolerable now. Wow, if you're in a relationship, you trust somebody, especially if you are husband and wife, you trust your other person more than your spouse. It's like, wow, so crazy, right? Yeah, so let's see sin in the way we should see. We should perceive sin, and yeah, it will change your life. It will change your life once you can make that connection. You can see sin in a way that you should perceive it. And yeah, if you like this video, click the like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos. Bye bye, see you in the next video.